Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar on developing products and services for procurement. My name is Roderick Cameron. I am representing Brandwin Business Support, who are working with both Ealing and Hillingdon councils to provide support to SMEs in those boroughs. So this is now one of a number of education sessions brought to you as part of this program, the Fit to Bid program. And really what we're looking to is help you actively engage in the local supply chain and to support you submitting bids, particularly to council procurement, but also construction projects and large private sector buyers and suppliers. So all these sessions are online, the education sessions, and you can register at the links you see on the screen, and there'll be other links through in a couple of slides' time. We've also got Meet the Bar events, which are live events, and those are in October and November, and that's on the next slide. So just to set the context today, so my understanding is that we're here today to learn about how to develop products and services that people, because it's all about people at the end of the day, specifically procurement people in large organizations, both public and private sector, want to buy, winning you more contracts. So helping you shape those products and services so that people want to buy them. So just as we kind of get going, if you could take a moment as more participants arrive, just to think about what you would like to glean from today's session under that umbrella, and just drop into the chat. What would you like to get out of today's session on that topic of developing products and services procurement people will want to buy? Right, we'll keep the obviously the chat box is always open, so we will crack on. Just a few more sort of intimations. So those Meet the Bar events, there's one at the Ealing Festival of Business on the 17th of October, and one in Hillingdon at the Civic Centre in Uxbridge in November. So do mark those in your diary, do go to them. It's a fantastic opportunity to meet and put a name to a face and a face to a name, and open up a relationship and a conversation so that you're on those buyers' radar, and you can start to understand more about what's coming in their pipeline, what potentially you might be able to bid for, and to understand what their needs are, and start to understand who they are as people. And that's going to be really important to take value from today's session, is start to think about, if I was walking a mile in their shoes, what would that look like? So the link is along the bottom there, that long link on Eventbrite, but it's the Ealing and Hillingdon Fit to Bid collection, and you'll be able to register for those live events, those Meet the Bar events. Please do. So what are we going to cover today? So three main components today. The bulk of this is around the value proposition canvas, rather jargony, but it's a way of thinking, a framework of thinking about your product set and your services, what you offer, and what actually is the outcome of what you offer, and why might someone want to buy it, and how can you adapt your product or service so that it becomes more purchasable, more easy to purchase. So we've got a chunk of work on that. For those that like the additional reading, this work is all derived from the Strategizer series, Value Proposition Design, and the Business Model Generation book that developed the Business Model Canvas. So we're looking at a subsection of the Business Model Canvas today. We're also going to talk about sales enablement, how to link that product development into marketing and sales opportunities, and then also just some more details about this supplier ready program, the Fit to Bid program, and the extra value, including the availability of one-to-one sessions with experts to help you develop either your antennae around bids or to work on specific bids. Very open agenda there. So we have between now and noon, so it's minutes rather than hours. We've got to move at quite a pace, so please bear with me. I know I talk quite quickly, so in a way your mission is to listen quickly or to rewind and watch me again in slow motion. So we're going to do ask questions at any stage. let's if I pop back, just if I can see if I can pick up that link. I can't pick up that link at the moment, so I'll get that link in before the end of the session. So we've got a lot to cover, and some really powerful next steps. So just a little bit about me. I'm an SME growth specialist. I spent the last 15 years or so working and helping SME businesses really understand the perspective of those they work with, whether that's their employees, investors, or particularly the buyers of their products, and how to think about getting inside their heads and developing products and services that people want to buy. So use tools like the business canvas to help support that conversation. It's just a way to guide the conversation and organize our thinking around those things. So my job today is to have a little less jargon. There'll be a bit at the beginning, but to cut through that and really break this down into simple steps for you. Just an overview of the fit to bid methodology that Brandon's supplying into to Ealing and Hillingdon and other councils and chambers of commerce that we work with around London. So at the one end, it's about how to engage with procurement, and some of you may have already been to a Meet the Bar event, or they've got those events coming up in October and November. We have an online bid capability assessment tool, and this session sits into that 3 and 4, that bidding skills, sales enablement, which is then into the tender advice, which is available on a one-to-one basis. So I'll come on to that at the end. So welcome to the framework. This is the business model canvas. It's very interesting. There's a lot online about this, a lot of open source information available. It's been used in previous webinars in this series, and really what to enable us to focus down today, because it's a little bit overwhelming, particularly in a short time, is we're going to look at in 3 sections really. There's a feasibility, can you do it? There's a viability, can you make money out of it? We're looking around this desirability, so who will want it? So that's the bit. So who will want to buy your products? The jargon is, what's your value proposition? What are you proposing as an exchange of value? Their money, your products and services. So really looking particularly closely at what customer segments you're selling to. So being really clear on who are your customers helps you in this process of adjusting and designing what it is you sell. So rather than just setting up a store, laying out your products and services and waiting for someone to buy them, is thinking about how you tailor what you've got in your shop window. The value proposition itself looks very much at what it is that you offer, and can you create some sort of hierarchy out of that, and what are the gains that value that you're offering to the customer, and what pain do you take away? Just interesting ways of looking at the outcome of what your product or service achieves. So this value proposition canvas sits inside the bigger business model canvas, and we'll go into this now in a little bit of detail. So it's designed to help you understand how you're, one, creating value for your customers, and the second one is to design product services that your customers actually want to buy, which makes it easier. So that's that concept of fit and market fit that all the startup people talk about. It's you're fit if you're matching what you want to sell with what your customers want to buy. So there's that nice bit at the bottom. Value is exchanged from a customer for money when a problem is solved or a pain is relieved for them by your business. We all thought it was maybe just buying and selling stuff, but actually, if you think of it in terms of problems being solved or pain being relieved, that will really help you hone what you offer the market and make it easier for that transaction, that exchange of value. So there's a little bit of terminology. On the one hand, when we're looking at the product, we talk about pain relievers and gain creators. And on the other side, so the inverse, the other side of the coin, is around this technical term called customer jobs. I'll come on to that right in the next slide, so I don't want to leave that jargon hanging. And that's around what are their pain points and what are their gains. So what this enables us to do as business people is to move from, I know people want my product or my service, and it's very instinctive and gut feel, to actually, I've kind of worked through this and I've got a rational argument and a business case for that customer to take on my product. So I told you we'd unpick this idea of what is a customer job or a job to be done. So let's get our head around this terminology. So I'm Scottish, and I was in Edinburgh recently with the family, and we had to get from the main street, Princess Street, up to the Castle Esplanade. So that's down on sea level, if you like, Princess Street, and I had to get all the way up the hill. Now, taking this to some extremes, the job that I need done is to take me and the family from street level to the castle. So there are three ways or three products that I could buy to do that for me. So here we are. It's me and the family. My little ones are a bit bigger than that now. But to get up that hill, we've got we could walk, an obvious way. So that's product one. We could take the product two, or maybe take a donkey. Maybe the one from Shrek with its own Scottish accent. So it's a bit of a silly example, but you see, I've got one job to be done. I need to get from A to B. And to get from A to B, I've got three options, three products. So if you're selling donkeys, or you're selling hiking shoes, or you're selling bus rides, you are each offering me a product. So what's going to make me choose one over the other? So let's think in terms of the job to be done, because all three things provide a solution, but the job to be done is to get me and my family from A to B. So taking that a slightly different different slant on that. So these magnificent horses, they're huge. As you can tell by the photo, that's little people at the front. They're called the Kelpies, up on the Forth Clyde Canal. Now, very photogenic. I think that's why they built them, so people go there and photograph them and buy from the gift shop. Now, if you've just taken a photograph, what might be the job that you want to do next? So have a thought, what you take a photograph, does it just live on your camera? Or what is the job you might want to do? So I've popped a number of ideas down here. So any number of these, I'm not going to read them all out, they're all there, but I could add it to an online album, or I could turn it into a GIF, or I could, if I'm really proud of it and I want to be hired as a photographer, I could showcase it. How do I add it to my portfolio? Or I just send it to my mum. Hello, here we are with some giant horses. Now, each of these six, and there's many more, and I'm sure you had your own, each of these is a different job. It's a different purpose on a different outcome. It all involves a photograph, but each one's got a different outcome. So thank you for the contributions in the yeah, you might want to share it, you might do other things. So thank you for those comments in the chat. So depending on that job, please add a little trawl around technologies that would help me with this. Get the phone from the picture from my mobile phone. Some of these I can't. You'll probably be able to recognize more than me. So there are services that actually act as online albums. There's Google Photos. Instagram will add lots of filters. Flickr will enable me to do very clever things. Some of these are more or less secure. Some are more public. Some, I could have added WhatsApp there if I was going to share it with a buddy. Now, all of these are just do things with photographs. So there's half a dozen. We've mentioned another couple more. But the job, the thing that needs done is the distinctive point. I'm kind of irrelevant. The fact the photo is kind of irrelevant. It's the job that needs done. It's the outcome of the work. So I hope that helps give you a flavor of how to think about whether it's window cleaning services or social care provision, yes, they're buying that in name, but actually underneath that, is there a particular outcome that they need? Do they need it done quickly, safely, fast, high quality? All those sort of attributes. Start to think about that slightly differently. So here we go. So you've got to focus on the job rather than the persona, the person, the me, or the product, the fact it's a photo, or a journey indeed, and up to the castle. It's focusing on the job because certain features might be only suitable for certain jobs. So the window cleaning example, if I'm the fastest window cleaner in the world, but I'm not necessarily the best, then that works for someone who just wants it done quickly. But cleaning windows, I don't know, in a into a an operating theatre, so a surgeon can see what's going on. That fast doesn't cut it. It has to be very high quality and very hygienic. Both need their windows washed, but very different features required because they're very different jobs. So if you think about that jobs to be done, and that's that kind of lower row in this slide, there might be 5 or things, aspects of that job. Now, if your product only covers 3 of the 5, then you're not a great fit. And that might be a reason why you don't get bought. Or it might be, if you're going to focus on those 3, you've got to be better at those 3 than anyone else is, and let the customer know you're better. So we need to replace the user story, which is I sell X services to Y buyer, into jobs to be done. And we can start to unpick the jobs to be done by looking at various aspects. Again, these are labels I'll come to explain in a moment. So the functional aspects, is the window clean? Is it clean well? Is it clean fast? But also the emotional aspects. And that's both personal, social. So do I look good in front of my boss for hiring this company because they're higher quality, or they've got a better brand reputation, or they introduce us to other people, or that sort of social dimension. And the personal thing is, oh, this is always painful. Someone's done it and I hadn't even really noticed. Brilliant. I've had no stress dealing with that. So let's replace that user story with the job story. Whew, crikey, I feel I've downloaded quite a lot of information, talked at you quite a lot. That's what webinars are for, I guess. So let's just kind of pause in a minute and let's think just for a second. And if you've got a pen and paper, or the notes section on the phone, or an A4 canvas, whatever it is used to write notes and sticky notes. So if I work with a client, one idea per sticky note. So what is the job that needs done? So, clean windows, but actually the job is, I need that done well, or fast, or cheap, or if it's trying to think on the social care, is it short notice? Is it reliable? Is it a skill in dealing with the elderly? Is it a particular reputation in dealing with a particular community? Is it learning development skills that sit in there? What are the special jobs that need done? So we start to open our minds up to these sort of exercises. So kind of get going now, have a little go at it. And with all of these exercises I'll run through in the next few minutes, you might just want to say, well, okay, I've just started that, but you might want to think about putting some quality time together and going back and really letting your imagination run riot and really doing a full job on this, whether it's on the list or on the stickies. So let's see how we go working through this. So what is your ideal customer trying to get done? What's the outcome for them? So you wash the window, but the outcome is you can see more clearly, or the building is more presentable, or it's more hygienic. What are the tasks that they are looking to do? What do they need to get done? Their problems. And then I said I've unpicked these. So functional jobs is a specific task or a specific problem. A social job is actually, if I get this done, I look good, or I look professional, or it helps me connect to my community. And then there's sort of personal emotional jobs, which is actually, this makes me happier, more secure, it creates a better environment. So you start to pick these things apart in different ways. So the way to do this is just kind of set a little table. So what is the job to be done? And then if you can categorize it, so I need my windows cleaned. I just need to be able to see through them. How often does it occur? Is that a monthly sale? Is it a daily sale? Now, if you're selling window cleaning services to a housing association, that might be every 2 weeks, every month, and that's a functional job on a monthly, fortnightly basis. But it might be if you're cleaning windows in an operating theatre, well, that could be functional, but it's functional in a different way. It's this very high quality clean to surgical standards, and that might need to be done after every operation. Who knows? I'm no window cleaning expert. So after this session, if you create that table and list those things out, what you're then able to do is drop into this slide and start to rank them by importance. So just this left-hand column, I've got there's all the I've come up with 10 jobs that the client needs done. Where do I chart them? This is where post-its come in handy, because you can start to move them about. That's often a bit easier. So you can start to get a ranking. We're just looking at that left-hand column, and you want to end up with a list of jobs ranked by importance. So we're going to keep moving through these, and you'll have seen from that last slide, there's another couple on this process. So customer pains. So what is it in your area of expertise that annoys your customers before, during, after getting a job done? So is it cleaning services, people that don't turn up, or only half a job done, or leaving chemicals lying around, or not locking cupboards, or and therefore leading to loss of kit and equipment? Or what are the pains? What bothers customers when they're having to deal with it? Oh, crikey, I've got this to sort out. What causes that reaction? And it could be, and I've split this out on the right hand side, it could be an undesired outcome or characteristics. Kind of, it's boring, or I hate doing this, or why am I the kind of bad guy every time? Or it could be there's an obstacle, which is, oh, I just don't know where to start. or I just have time to do this. Or situations, particularly where there's an element of risk. I'm just going to stop for a little moment, because I just had an internet message. So I'm just going to pause for a second, see if it sorts itself out. Do let me know if I freeze for a long time again. So again, need you chart listing down those customer pains. Once you've got them listed out, and again, whether you've used your magic sticky notes, is how extreme are they versus how moderate are they? So you can start to rank them from most extreme to moderate. And that starts to give you a sense of, oh, that really matters to my customer. And then the third area of the circle is, what's the upside? What are the gains, the customer gains? So the required ones are need to have it. And the example there is, if I've got a phone, it's got to be able to make calls. If I've got a broadband service, it has to enable me to do a webinar without worrying about dropping. Oh. Now, and this is like on that iPhone example, which is, I want the phone to be cool. You know, if it's a Samsung, I want it kind of foldy and groovy. If it's Apple, I want it minimalist and sleek. So what do we look for? What are nice to have sort of little upsides? So the unboxing thing, that thing when you get a new phone and actually it's really easy now to change everything that was on your old phone to go to your new phone. That's a magic experience now. It used to be traumatic. You used to have to go to the phone shop and get the technician to do it. But now you can just do that in a few seconds and it all happens. That's perfect. And then there's the unexpected gains. What are the surprise and delights? Little bits of magic, little bits of sparkle, a little bit of gold dust, of fairy dust that you can add in. So think about that. What's the customer getting as a from the required end right the way through to actually they also get this. They don't necessarily bargain on getting this, but this is an upside for them. Again, list those out. And as before, want you to rank those. So of those gains, what's essential all the way down to nice to have. You need to kind of rank those. So again, I've rattled through that. You need to spend some time listing all these out, thinking about all the various types of jobs, the various types of pains, the various types of gains, and then rank them out on this scale, and you'll start to get some real insights. So moving on, the key here is around getting that what we call market fit. So that's when customers get excited about your products because you address the important jobs, you take care of the extreme pains, and you create essential gains that they care about. So that's the purpose of doing that last exercise. You have to make the connection between your product and their need. So that's what market fit is all about. Market fit is when they want to buy what you're selling. Just cuts through it all. Okay, how are we doing? I'm just going to keep an eye on the time. Going to keep going at pace. So that's that first exercise, and that's dealt with your product and the jobs that need done. So we're now going to look at the other side. So there's a ranking table here. So what we're going to look at here are the products and services that you offer. Now, think about this in terms of both what you have currently, but let your imagination go a little. What else could you do, or what differently could you do with what you've got? So could you wash windows on roller skates while playing music? Slightly different product. Entertaining and probably not very insurable, but it's a slightly different product. So what will your customer segment, remember, be very clear who you're selling to. This isn't one size fits all. Be very clear in your customer segment. What will they see as valuable? Again, your customer segment, it's a buyer in a specific organization. So it could be someone who works in the education department of the council. It could be someone who works at a large private sector landlord business. It could be someone who works at a brewery. Different roles, different industries, different segments, and very different from consumers. So it's a bit trite, but those products and services don't create value on their own. It's only when you link the specific segment to the jobs, the pains, and the gains that you get that value. So we're going to split out and look at first we'll have the products and services, a way of looking at those, and then we're going to look at the pains and gains again. So what kind of products and services are there? So tangible ones, things that arrive in a box, things you can touch and feel. So products, clean windows is a tangible product of window cleaning services. Intangible. So what do you offer they can't touch, but it's really part of that wraparound. So that could be access to a help desk. It could be kind of further online resources. It could be kind of video support. It's quite nice now when you often buy a product, you get a QR code, and that's a little video that explains how to use it in depth and answers that FAQs or shows you how to do things. That links into digital. What are the things that you're providing online or through the web? But of course, also financial products. So, there's a big market now right now you want to buy this. How do you want to pay for it? Can't take cash through the screen, but we can take credit cards, PayPal, and Klarna, and buy now, pay later, and whole range of financial services that are also sit as sort of ancillary products relating to the core product. So what are you offering? Is it tangible, intangible, digital, financial? Where does it sit? And how important are those to your customer? So when you've got your list out, do take some time to think about that and then rank them in terms of importance to your client, to your customer segment. So we're getting a hang of that. Go away, think about it, list them out, and then organize them using this graphic. Let's talk about pains and gains. So pain relievers are how your products and services, either the ones you got now or the ones you could tweak and build, how do they address specific customer pain points? So how do you get rid of or reduce or mitigate those pains, the things that your client doesn't like to do around the job that they want to get done? So you can go back and look at the pains. That's okay. That's not cheating. That's why you do that first bit of work. How can you relieve those? So remember, this is a methodology to help you get market fit. It's creating something that your procurement person wants to buy. So how is it your products take away the pain? And there's a list here on the right. Do they make things easier to use? Is it faster? Is it better quality? Does it mitigate kind of potential downside risk? Is it safer? Does it stop them being exposed to cyber threats? Is it just less annoying? Does it smell better? Is it better for the planet? All those considerations. Is it more energy efficient? Those kind of things really, where people are under pressure to shift to make changes in what they buy and how they buy. So let's go back and make sure they are the pains that you've looked at before. How is your product addressing those? And then drop them in from the essentials to nice to have a good think and reorganize them so you've got a prioritized list here. So rank those by kind of, and it's how valuable they are to the customer. That's the key point. Last bit of this section is again, same methodology. Go back and look at your customer section, your customer segment, and talk about the gains that your products offer, and start to kind of pull these through in more detail. So what are the gains? We've identified what the gains are that customers might be looking for. What are the gains that your products deliver? So again, we're not expecting that to be a straight mapping. We're not expecting your product to cover all of them, but which are the ones that they cover? And what are those specific gains that they offer? Is it making a customer's life easier, making them more socially desirable, more environmentally friendly? What is the gain that's created? So it's what those benefits that your customer expects, desires, or would be surprised by. That surprise and delight. So this is right, kind of the positive emotions. Obviously, the pains on the negative side. This is what positive emotions are engendered by your products or services when they are put in front of your customer. Get those all listed out. Take some time to do that. Have a good glass of cocoa or whatever. Work your way through, and then rank them from essential to nice to have based on the relevance. That's the key word. Based on the relevance to the client. Okay. So I'm going to keep rattling on. I've now left you with quite a bit of homework to do. So do put some quality time aside and work through these 6 things step by step, and you'll come out with a clear idea of what market fit for your products and services could look like, which will drive more sales for your business. So here's the value proposition fit. You drop your best bits into that box. This is your summary list. So that will help identify what problems do you solve? What jobs do your clients have that you can help them with? How is the customer better off by engaging with you? That is the value proposition that achieves market fit. So that's the way of organizing and talking about what it is you do and shaping what you do to address the jobs that they need done and take away the pains, provide the gains, get that matched up. That's fit. That's what that's all about. So just going to run through summary of that, and do come back to 6 steps on this slide. Oh, 5, not 6, sorry. So the first one is looking at this corner of the business model canvas, the value proposition canvas, as 2 separate little bricks or building blocks. So one is, how are you designing your products and services, and how do you observe what is going on in terms of those pains and gains? How does that impact on the customer? If you're going to do that exercise, just focus. Don't mix up your customer segments. Do this work for one segment. It might be large institutional buyers, and then work out, well, actually, I need to do this now for middleware or middle people or wholesalers or whatever your customer segment. Don't mix them up. Separate segment for each canvas. And don't cheat. Don't kind of do the one and then try and retrofit that to, well, that looks like this. Really understand who the customers are that are out there and design from that point through. So it's not the other way around. Identify your customer segments first. This often gets mixed, which is the functional bit's kind of easy to identify. We clean windows. But what are the social, personal, emotional aspects of doing that? That often gets missed. So think about, I need it done clean or well or fast or with a song or hygienically or by a robot or whatever the other bits are that bring that add shades of color to that job. And this is the point about not trying to map every job that the customer has with everything in your product. It's not one-to-one. If there's some things get left behind, that's okay, because it helps you shape for where you do best and helps shape your story as to why the customer should be using your product and service to meet those specific set of gains and pains, where your strengths are. So take a little pause, let the internet rest for a moment so it stays up. Just going to crack on through for the next 15 minutes or so. Just got 2 more bits to get through. So that covers off how to develop the value proposition, and that's the summary there of what you need to do and the work that needs done. And as you can see, it's a process, a methodology for really picking apart what your customer needs done, the job, and picking apart the products and services, what you offer in terms of those gains and pains. And then that'll help you start to shape, oh, actually, here's this, let's pull all that together. That's the proposition that we deliver value through. The next 2 things to do are this concept of sales enablement, and then lastly is how we can provide you with more support. So this is how you apply the value proposition I've been talking about. So this is about what will help you move into exposing your products and services to the market, getting in front of the right customer at the right time when they're ready to buy, because that takes a lot of friction out of the process. So this is sales enablement is the link between marketing and selling. So it's linking the prospecting section, the finding clients, and the converting clients, making those sales, exchanging the value. So what we really need to do under this heading is start to think about what are the situations that your customer finds themselves in, your customer segment. So what are the it's this sense that situations reveal needs. So what if the customer, the customer's got a need, but they haven't spotted it yet? How do you create a situation that they'll recognize? How do you think about this idea of context, which is where they sit in terms of their industry, their day, their needs, their budget cycle, as opposed to what you want to sell? And it's the classic thing. I don't know if it's still true. believe that there we always see more roadworks towards the end of a council's financial year, because that's when the roads department finally got budget left over and need to spend it. So if you're selling into a budget holding department with cash to spend, contextually that's a great moment, and that's the time you should be focusing your efforts. Less effective is to go back to them immediately after that, when all that money is spent and they have to husband their resources for the next year. So start to think about catalysts, occasions, triggers. It could be tax changes, it could be budget cycles, it could be launches of new technologies, it could be opening of new infrastructure, a new tube station or a new property development. What are the things that create specific moments of need? Second on this list to think about is if you are starting to use tools like LinkedIn and Sales Navigator and the internet to identify who is in that procurement department that you are targeting with your products. Well, if there's a change of role, if someone new is coming in, then that's an opportunity to say, hi, you're new to this. We've not worked with this business before, but we'd really like to. And can we come and see you and talk about what you're finding as you get under the desk, and whether some of our products and services can take away some of your pains and add to some of your gains. The person leaving that job, if you've been working with them, could they be going somewhere else where they could take you with them? So how are you monitoring that? How are you monitoring which the contract database of councils and others to see which contracts are coming to an end, and therefore getting yourself ready to find out about whether there's an upcoming tender or there's a contract to be awarded. Keeping an eye on that and those sort of trigger points where people suddenly they've got to address this gap that they have. They have a job that needs done. And then this last bit, what happens if things change in terms of regulation or market perception? So there's a big push on local procurement, SME procurement, on you're moving towards more carbon neutral, environmentally friendly, more sustainable. How does your product and service mix play into that agenda? What solutions are you offering for people who might have been given a target, right, we need to reduce our carbon footprint by 10%. Go and work it out. Now, if you turn up and say, well, actually, we've got all our, we're ESG accredited, and we've got electric vehicles and pesticide-free chemicals, and whatever that might be in your business, how do you play into that market perception? And likewise, strategic direction. What functions are councils maybe bring back in-house or outsourcing? The Procurement Act is coming into effect in October 2024, which will look at getting more SMEs into the supply chain. How are you looking to understand that language of procurement and to start to speak to people saying, you need more SMEs, we're very friendly to work with. How can we get into your supply chain? Those are also triggers. So situations reveals needs. How are you finding out about those situations so that you can take advantage of them? So again, conscious of time, but just take a moment to think about what of those situations could pop up for your potential clients that might alert them to a need for your products and services. So again, this is an exercise you might want to come back to. What is going on if I kind of sat at the desk of the procurement buyer for the council education department? What is she looking at? What are the things that might land, that might change? Back and then go back. Is that regulatory changes? Is it managing big shifts of contract? Are they on a 3-year cycle, a 6-month cycle? Is she new into the job? Is she leaving? What are those triggers? So complete that list, keep working on that list, and then work out how you can market and activate your sales into those situations. How do you get in front of people? How do you drop them an email? What value can offer them at that point where they're open to engagement? So what you're really looking at is, you know what your outcome and your ideal client are. What's that situation where you sit in the middle? So it could be, right, there's my ideal client, and we'll go back to the lady who's head of procurement in the education. She has a school's cleaning contract. She needs it to be someone that's reliable, that's local. It's for a special educational needs school. So some sensitivity around that and history in that. Now, the situation could be that either the contracts come up or the current provider has gone bust, and you're able to step in and go, I can take all that pain away because I can do it now and I can do it fast and I'm at the right price. And the extra gains are I'm local, I'm nimble, I'm SME, and you look good for finding and hiring me. That's the perfect niche focus. So this last bit about really focusing on the outcomes of all this effort. So how is the customer better off by engaging with you? So what can you do to achieve this sense of market fit? And that's really focusing on what are the outcomes they need? What jobs do they need done? And as a result of getting those jobs, what happens? So it might be, again, this pain gain thing. It might be if the job gets done and it gets done the way I want to get done, there's just no fuss. All the pain is taken away. Or the job is done in a different way. I might look better, or I might save money at the council. I might get a promotion. I might look like a change champion. Really understand what those outcomes are, both sort of psychologically, personally, and then quantify them. Sometimes you're able to give a financial benefit, which is, listen, if we do that this slightly new, different way that we do it, we can save you X thousand per year. Is there a measurable benefit? And this is back to walking in their shoes. So really be clear on your value proposition, really understand how the client is better off from engaging with you, and what are the outcomes you get for them. Higher productivity, better staff retention, happier staff, a better environmental footprint, more sales, customers of theirs that hang around for longer. What are the ultimate outcomes if you get this right, and you effectively partner with your client to deliver these outcomes? So walk in your client's shoes. What outcomes do they want? What jobs do they need done, and why? And really build your value proposition from there using the tools and the methodologies we've given you. How are we going? So let's just summarize this section and I can get you through into the next steps from here. So what jobs do your clients want done, and how are they better off from engaging with you? So in this first bit, that's this whole process about mapping the job, developing your value proposition, pains, gains, really understanding what's going on in their world, and working on tailoring your solution so that it's a really good fit. Now, you've then got to go and take that to market. You've got to articulate that. When you go to your website, how clear is it that of what you do, for who, and what the outcomes are? When you're writing emails, is it, Dear X, I see you've got a new job. Please can I come and sell you why? Not very engaging. It's, Dear X, you've got a new job. I understand that on your desk, you've probably got these 3 or 4 issues. We've got experience in dealing with specifically that one. Would love to come and see you. That's an interesting position, interesting message, and could lead to a conversation. So it's really being clear on how you link that solution you've created and communicate that to clients. How do you do that? Over what channels? Email, handwritten letter, postcard, interpretive dance. It can be all kinds of things, but that will make the difference. You get that match up. So what I'd like you to do now is to take a piece of paper like this and create your own action plan. So write down, on the basis of the conversation we've had today, and the information you've got now, what are the 3 things that you're going to do in the next 2 to 4 weeks by the end of, where are we? By half term, we've got kids at school, around by kind of the start of October. What are you going to get done So please, take all the knowledge, the tools we've given you today, the other ones on the council's website, the Fit to Bid website, Brandwin's YouTube channel. How can you help take those and start to build a system to grow sales of your business's products and services? And please, my imprecation to you is do something with this. This is fantastically valuable, but it only has a return on the investment of your time today and your time later if you do something with it. So please go back, work on this, and change what you do in some way. Here's a quick look at that program schedule. And I'm conscious I've still got to put the link in the chat. It is an Eventbrite link. So actually, if you go to eventbrite.com and search up Ealing and their supplier ready program, that could be a way in. I'm still struggling to get the link off off the slide while I'm in presenter mode, so bear with me. Do get to these Meet the Bar events. They are fantastic. They're a great networking session with other SMEs and brilliant to open up those human relationships with buyers. They're always vibrant. They're always kind of full of great energy. Really, really recommend them. People get a lot out of them. Now, as we know, big contracts, big buyers, it might not be instant. This takes a bit of investment of your time. I see my internet's just wobbled, so bear with me while I hold. But please, I'll stop thumping my fists. Please do get to these events, October 17th, November 28th. They're on Eventbrite. Search up Ealing or Hillingdon, and you will find them. This is a fantastic next resource. So we've got experts who really understand the SME world and the procurement world standing by for you to access their time. So it's all confidential. You get a couple of sessions. The way it tends to work, the opening session, we go through and we understand what your barriers are, and we work with you to create an action plan. Typically, might go away and do a little bit of work each, and then get back together and see what progress you've made and how you've advanced that. You can't change the world, but you can get an awful lot done in those sessions because our experts are right on it and will be able to support you. So those are supported by this program. Please do get them booked in. They're hugely valuable. And I'll come on to how to do that in just a moment. The outcome of that is one of these action cards that's complete and filled in. The new ones are slightly easier to work with than this, but it gives you a little bit of a record and a reminder and a springboard to go and take action. Call an action card because we want you to take action. We have a raft of these webinars which are specifically designed for SMEs looking at getting into that procurement world of big buyers and public and private sector. We know that we do these, people go back and they'll be able to kind of fast forward and rewind, find the sections of relevance to them and be able to dip in and out of it and use it as a resource. So we keep them all on the Brandwin YouTube channel. Just go and search it up. And there's an awful lot done for both Ealing and Hillingdon under this UK SPF Supplier Ready program. And there's a lot there. It's a brilliant resource. So please do use that, as well as looking at the Supplier Ready websites for each of the councils. Getting on board with this program, if you're not already, is the fit2bid.co.uk is your entry point, and then you find your borough and click through. For Hillingdon, it's Charlie. For Ealing, it's Tony. They both run the one-to-one sessions. Do get them booked in. You can do it through the Fit to Bid website because that'll help fill in some of the paperwork and make that session more valuable. They're there to support you bidding, so they'll help you locate bids. They'll help you work through the language of tenders. They'll give you some ideas about the value proposition shaping if you need those, and then help you develop those winning bids, those winning tenders, and to help you grow your business. That's the key bit. All this effort has to grow your business, and grow it in a way that's effectively, grow it smart. So less effort, shape your value proposition, get market fit, it's easier to sell. So that was all I had to get through today. So really keen that you take today's information, you go back, you review it, you do the work, you go generate those lists, you order those lists, you drop those into, actually, it's about this for my customer segment. These are the things I really solve and get great outcomes. Taking that revised value proposition, then looking for moments or situations where you go, aha, there's a moment of need, there's a trigger, there's an opportunity to sell and take my message and communicate to someone who's ready to buy. And here are the resources around, including those one-to-one sessions, which are so powerful, as well as everything that's online, webinar series and digital playbooks and so on that are provided by Brandwin for Hillingdon and Ealing, and available on those websites. I hope you've got value out of today. It is Eventbrite is the link to get booked for those Meet the Bar events in October and November. I'll go back to that slide and leave that up just now. That's all I had to get through today. Do find me. I'm Roderick Cameron. You can find me via the Brandwin website, find me via LinkedIn, and or speak to Tony and Charlie, who are in your local borough and a great point of contact, and they can walk you through. Their addresses are here. So Charles at brandwin.co.uk and Tony M at brandon.co.uk. Best points of contact. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. Glad the internet has stayed up for us. Wish you the best of luck. This is worth persevering in. It will deliver growth for your business. Thank you.